Let's talk about the biggest positional battles for the Chicago Bears heading into training camp this off season. So what is going on, y'all? Faiz Sports all back at it with another video, talking some NFL here to talk about the Chicago Bears and here to talk about what I believe to be the biggest positional battles for the Bears this off season. So if you're a Bears fan, please do hit that big subscribe button down below. Please make sure you're following me on all my social media platforms, guys. As always, hit the bell icon so you're notified every time I drop a new video. All right, so I would say for the most part, man, there is not a lot of mystery around kind of the guys that are going to be starting for the Bears at most positions. In fact, 90% of positions. And so even for me, when I, set out to make this video, I had trouble finding some real big positional battles. Like in years past, we've had some easy ones that we could point to, and it's been competition all over the field. But this time around, man, I don't really see much. All right, but even still, I found 3 positional battles for you guys that I think will be interesting come training camp. All right, training camp is going to be here before we know it, man. End of July, like around that time, like training camp is going to be here soon. The NFL season is going to be here very soon, so gear up for that. Subscribe to the channel. All right, my number 1 positional battle by far, I think this one is the biggest one easily, the center spot. Ryan Bates versus Coleman Shelton. Now, who will be the starting center? I've seen both guys listed as the starting center on various depth charts, all right? And even during the early portion of the offseason, both guys were rotating at the center spot. And so even the Bears coaching staff right now does not know who is going to be that guy. And I believe this is going to be a sort of hot hand approach, a sort of who does Caleb prefer approach? And that's kind of what it's going to boil down to. For me, I would tell you right here, right now, the guy that I probably want versus the guy that I think will get the job are different. Here's why. The guy that I want is the guy that I believe a little bit more experienced here, Coleman Shelton, 2-year starter, versus a guy in Ryan Bates who sporadically played with the Bills. Now, the Bills' offensive line was very solid, so he didn't get a lot of playing time, but I'll take the guy that's more experienced. But I believe Ryan Bates is probably going to be the guy I think will get the start at the center spot, at least to start the year. And that's because Ryan Poles has coveted him for a while now. He tried to acquire him years back, and I just believe that the Bears are going to give him kind of that first opportunity, that first crack at it. But I think Coleman Shelton's got more experience. I think he's a guy who's going to bring more stability to that spot. And I believe Ryan Bates being more versatile is better used as kind of this swing offensive lineman that you can move around. So I picked Coleman Shelton to start, but I believe it's probably going to be Ryan Bates. Either which way, we'll know during training camp. These guys will battle it out. And I think Caleb Williams, in terms of who he prefers to get the snaps from, in terms of, the chemistry between those two guys and Caleb, like who it is that's going to have better chemistry, Caleb is going to determine that as well. So that will also play a part. Ultimately, this is going to be the biggest positional battle for the Bears this upcoming season. So my pick is Coleman Shelton, but I believe the Bears will go with Ryan Bates. Let me know who you guys think the Bears will go with. All right, so let's move on to the second positional battle here. This one's a little bit more underrated, but still important. It's the return man position between Velus Jones Jr. and potentially DeAndre Carter. DeAndre Carter, the Bears recently signed him. He is a returner, and, Velus Jones Jr. is a guy who we know he's not a good receiver, man. Like, he is a guy who's a specialist in this league, if at that, not even an elite one. And we've seen Velus had some troubles here, man. But you know what? He still has that speed. He still has that acceleration. But DeAndre Carter's a more experienced guy. So to me, I'm always going to lean more experience versus the guy who's got more upside potential at these spots. Not other spots, but just at these type of spots, just because, like, you muff a punt, you muff a kick return, like, those are crucial mistakes. So I'm going to take probably the experienced guy, but, we'll see. And, at this point, is DeAndre Carter even a lot to make the roster? Is Velus a lot to make the roster? We'll see. But that's kind of how I think that shakes out. I think Velus probably stays as the starting punt kick returner, and I think DeAndre Carter is kind of the backup there. All right, my third positional battle here. Another underrated one that I feel like a lot of people aren't talking about, the backup running back spot. We know the starter is DeAndre Swift, that's set. But the backup spot, is it really Khalil Herbert or could it be Roschon Johnson? I believe Roschon Johnson could catapult himself over Herbert as the backup. And here's why. I think he's got more potential, more upside, brings a different versatile skill set. So Swift and Khalil Herbert kind of seem like similar backs, smaller types, not more of the power back, if you will. Roschon's got more size to him, a little bit more of a guy that you can use in short yardage situations. And I just believe flat out he can be better. Now, yards per carry wise, Herbert had him beat last year 4.6 to Roschon's 4.2. But it's not to say Roschon can't improve on it. So to me, I probably would say Roschon takes over that number 2 spot. And honestly, if we didn't sign DeAndre Swift, I would have told you Roschon Johnson has a chance to be the starting running back for the Bears because I just think he's that versatile. A great pass catcher as well. He's showing you that. Like, he is a guy who I believe can potentially be a starting running back in this league. But we know that's not going to happen next year with DeAndre Swift being here. So I think he is going to be the number 2 guy. Herbert, number 3 guy, is the lesser talented guy. And I just believe with Roschon being more versatile, better blocker, is going to be the guy that wins out that number 2 starting running back job. I shouldn't say starting, number 2 running back job. So those are kind of my 3 positional battles, guys. The center spot, the return man, and the running back, backup running back spot. Do you have any other positional battles that you guys are looking at? Leave a comment down below. I'll take a look at, see if I can pick and address who I believe could win those battles. So as always, thanks for watching.